Coming up, it's a word in the news a lot this week, tariffs. But what are they? We have the answer. Then the mission of the NTSB explained. Also, Super Showdown.
How about those Chiefs?
Eagles!
We'll preview the big game on Sunday, from the teams to the food and so much more. And speaking of Sunday, we'll introduce you to some players competing in the other big game.
She's come down with a case of the zoomies.
Plus, paying it forward, this young fan's act of kindness is touching hearts across America. And Dogman.
Dogman!
One popular children's book series is jumping off the pages onto the big screen.
Cut it out. Stop it.
We'll take a look at the new animated movie.
What lesson do you think kids can learn from this movie, Dogman?
You know, one of the great lessons kids can learn from this movie is just to have sympathy and to have empathy for others, right?
This is NBC Nightly News Kids Edition.
Welcome back to Nightly News Kids Edition. I'm Lester Holt. It's great to be with you. We have an awesome lineup ahead, from the Puppy Bowl to Dogman to our Picture of the Week. Plus, we'll test your news smarts. But first, let's begin with one of the stories making headlines this week. President Trump has said he plans to impose tariffs on some imported goods from certain countries. According to the president, the goal is to boost American manufacturing, strengthen border security, and end what he says are unfair trade practices. And this got us thinking, what exactly are tariffs? Let's find out. A tariff is a tax on a product that goes from one country to another. The most common one is import tariffs. These tariffs are taxes placed on goods imported from other countries, like furniture, toys, clothes, and electronics.
Best way to think about a tariff is it's a bill that you're handed right there by the customs agent. Here you go. Here is your container full of basketballs. And you thought it was going to cost $10,000. It's going to cost $10,000 plus 10% extra. And that 10% extra bill goes right to the U.S. government. And the person who pays that bill is the person who bought those basketballs to send to the stores to sell to you.
Tariffs are nothing new. In fact, tariffs have existed for hundreds of years. The United States and other countries have negotiated, made agreements, and sometimes even disagreed on tariffs. Tariffs can be enacted for economic reasons, like to try and strengthen the economy, or for political reasons.
Tariffs generally show that relations between countries are deteriorating. And you want to be in a situation, I think, where you're working with your friends and allies and you're on good terms with your competitors, and you don't have relations between countries that are getting worse.
In addition to possibly making things cost more at the store, tariffs can have a huge impact on the global economy. So paying attention to tariffs can help you understand more about what's happening.
The more you know from valued news sources, that's important. You can see how world leaders are trying to do what's best for their own position in their own country. And sometimes it takes compromise, right, for everyone to be able to win.
All right, let's turn now to another story that's been making headlines, and it's one that frankly has shaken a lot of us. And kids, you may want to grab a parent or grown-up to watch this next segment. We're talking about the tragic collision that took place last week in Washington, D.C., involving an Army helicopter and a commercial airliner. We know that's pretty scary, but flying, experts have been quick to remind us, remains the safest way to travel. Serious accidents and crashes involving commercial planes are extremely rare. And part of the reason why is the work of the National Transportation Safety Board. We thought this was a good moment to learn more about the NTSB mission and who they are. The National Transportation Safety Board is an independent federal agency tasked with making transportation safer. The NTSB, as it is usually known, investigates accidents, crashes, and other serious events involving aviation, highways, marine, and railways. The NTSB even investigates incidents related to pipelines, as well as the transportation of hazardous materials. On call 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, NTSB investigators travel through the U.S. and around the world in response to transportation accidents and disasters to determine the cause, examine safety issues, and eventually make safety recommendations to help prevent future mishaps, all in the name of saving lives.
After each investigation, we issue recommendations aimed at preventing that tragedy from reoccurring. Each of those recommendations can save lives, yet many of them remain to be implemented. I will say that I've had tremendous conversations with the new Secretary of Transportation about moving some of those forward and his focus on safety, and I'm very encouraged by those conversations.
One agency dedicated to making flying and all forms of transportation safer. Such important work they do. Okay, now let's test your news smarts and see if you've been paying attention to the news headlines this week. At the Grammy Awards on Sunday, Beyoncé finally won Album of the Year for the first time for Cowboy Carter. The question: who presented Beyoncé with the Grammy? Was it members of the A, Los Angeles County Fire Department, B, Los Angeles Philharmonic, or C, the Recording Academy? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. Okay, time's up. The answer is A, Los Angeles County Fire Department. That's right, 2 members from the LA County Fire Department presented Beyoncé with the Grammy for Album of the Year. The 67th Grammy Awards took place Sunday night in Los Angeles and highlighted the city's resiliency after the devastating wildfires last month. Okay, time for our picture of the week. Punxsutawney Phil emerged from his den in front of a big crowd in Gobbler's Knob, Pennsylvania on Sunday, and did indeed see his shadow, signaling 6 more weeks of winter. In a tradition that dates back nearly 140 years, Phil has predicted a longer winter far more often than an early spring. But he is not the most accurate groundhog, I'm told. He's right less than half the time. Well, in case you haven't heard, there's a big game this weekend. We're talking, of course, about the Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs will face off against the Philadelphia Eagles. Our Kids Edition correspondent Joaquin is here with a preview of all the excitement.
Call it a rematch. For the second time in 3 years, the Philadelphia Eagles face the Kansas City Chiefs in a Super Bowl showdown, this time in New Orleans at the Caesars Superdome. So how do the two teams stack up? The Kansas City Chiefs currently hold the championship title after last year's win over San Francisco and are looking to make history. If they win this year's Super Bowl, the Chiefs will be the first team to win 3 consecutive Super Bowls.
It's a special run that we've been on, and so every time I'm here at media night or on this football field in the Super Bowl, I'm going to appreciate those moments because you never know what will be your last one.
How about those Chiefs?
I got Chiefs hat, Kansas City shirt, Chiefs jacket, and I got my Chiefs socks.
Kansas City is known not just for their star quarterback Patrick Mahomes, but also for their fountains. The city has over 200 of them, and their style of barbecue. Oh, and there's a Swift effect. There was a huge spike in interest in Chiefs games when Taylor Swift started attending games to support her boyfriend Travis Kelce. Over 1,000 miles away, the Eagles are known for their massive fan base. Eagles fans are as wide-ranging as they are loyal.
Eagles!
Worked really hard to have this opportunity. So to do it and be back 2 times out of 4 years starting this is very special.
This 102-year-old superfan recently went viral.
My favorite team is Eagles.
Another big fan, 6-year-old Jada Barkley, Saquon's daughter. The two have a signature handshake before each game. And speaking of Saquon, this year the Super Bowl falls on his 28th birthday. Talk about a celebration.
One of my favorite quotes that Nick say all the time: you can't be great without the greatest of others. That's the reason why we've been successful, and it's going to take everyone again this Sunday.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
Outside of football, Philadelphia, often referred to as the city of brotherly love, is known for so much, like the Liberty Bell, Reading Terminal, and their world-famous cheesesteaks.
Now, I've been thinking about a guest before.
The halftime show will feature Kendrick Lamar and SZA. And we can't forget about the famous ads. Here's a sneak peek at a Nerds commercial featuring Shabuzi. And guess what? Since the 1950s, every football used by the NFL and the Super Bowl has been handcrafted at this factory in Ohio. So much to look forward to. I'm definitely going to be one of the 200 million people expected to watch on Sunday.
We can bring two beautiful cities together to compete and have fun, and it's a beautiful opportunity to really, shine some light on the good things in this world right now.
For Nightly News Kids Edition, I'm Joaquin. Back to you, Lester.
Joaquin, thanks very much. Now to the other big game on Sunday. Yes, there is another big game. It's sure to be a doggone good time. We're talking about the Puppy Bowl. Let's get details from our friend Aaron McLaughlin.
Back on the field, Fluff, Maya, and Belle are back at it.
It's a super lineup with possum appeal.
Touchdown!
These players all competing in the Puppy Bowl.
Imagine human football, but miniaturized, and instead of human players, it's puppy players, and instead of trained players, it's untrained players, so everything is unpredictable.
Oh! She stripped her own teammate's bandana.
Team Ruff and Team Fluff are set to go head-to-head.
Fluff's Bart Kent has a hold of Lex Woofer's collar.
As the Call to Adoption event is returning for its 21st year.
All these players are up for adoption. They're all from shelters.
She's come down with a case of the zoomies.
The lineup features 142 puppies from 80 different animal shelters and rescues across 40 states.
We like to say in Puppy Bowl that there's no underdogs, they're all overdogs, meaning they're all stars in their own way, and they're all winners in their own way because they all get adopted and find a home.
There's Beethoven, D-Bone Samuel, Paws Allen, and Saquon Barkley, who has his counterpart also competing on Sunday. And say hello to Enrique.
That is the face of a warrior.
Enrique hails from Puerto Rico.
So Enrique was rescued from the streets along with his litter and flown here.
He can jump high, he can run fast. He's too friendly. He needs to be a little more aggressive out there on the field.
There's also several special needs dogs like Trio, which we're told is looking good on the field.
Some of Trio's strengths are, despite only having 3 legs and a bone deformity, he's a lot faster than you'd think. So don't count him out. He's kind of like the low rider and able to kind of weave in and out and dodge some of the defense on the field.
Aside from these pups being so doggone cute, the Puppy Bowl's main mission, raise awareness about adoption and finding dogs their forever homes.
Adopting a shelter dog is one of the best decisions you'll make in your life. It's not hard to get an adorable puppy adopted who's on national TV. When we're showcasing one dog, we're really showcasing the entire rescue that has worked to get that dog on TV. So there's the whole community behind each and every one of the 142 dogs that you see. That dog's part of a litter. They have 4 or 5 siblings that need a home. They have a parent, a mom that probably needs a home. A lot of people will call into Puppy Bowl and say, I want to adopt, say, Enrique. So the important thing here is not the shine that we're just putting on these players, but the uptick in adoption inquiries gives them a little bit of a boost up and lets them be seen by families that may not otherwise see them.
These puppies scoring touchdowns of their own and hoping to bring their own team spirit to an important cause.
Okay, Aaron, thanks. And just a reminder, you can catch Puppy Bowl this Sunday on Animal Planet and streaming on Max. The fun starts at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Turning now to this week's Kids Spotlight, a new animated movie based on a beloved kids book series is in theaters right now. The film answers the question, what happens when a police officer who is half man, half dog goes head-to-head with a super feline villain? Our Kids Edition correspondent Andres takes a look at Dogman.
Dogman!
Dogman is jumping off the pages and hitting the big screen.
2 of the city's finest must come together.
The new movie is based on the popular book series by Dave Pilkey, who came up with the idea when he was just a kid.
I was always getting in trouble at school and always getting sent out in the hallway, and so I figured since I'm out there, I might as well draw. And pretty soon I was making comics, and that's where Dogman started.
Dogman tells the story of a police officer and his trusted police dog.
Hit the siren! Ow!
after the two face an injury on the job.
What if we sew the dog's head onto the man's body? Great idea!
A life-saving surgery merges them together, and Dogman is born.
Dogman!
Dogman must learn to adapt to his new form and protect and serve his community against a new supervillain.
I gotta take over the world! Buckle up!
Peter Hastings, the writer and director, is the voice behind Dogman.
Well, it was kind of like, and it's kind of a lot of that. There are fantastic voiceover artists who do incredible animal sounds, but I kind of didn't want it to be perfect. I wanted it to be that half man, half dog.
Get him in here now!
Lil Rel Howery plays Chief, head of the police force.
Dogman, go and arrest Petey! Why do you always gotta lick the inside of my mouth?
Dogman is such a beloved book series. Was there any pressure to bringing the Chief to life, knowing so many fans already love this character?
No, it wasn't pressure. It was actually more excitement than anything to be able to actually be the voice of Chief. I read these books to my kids when they were growing up, when they were younger. And so like to be able to be a voice that comes to life from the book, I was in from the first part. So I wasn't even nervous. I was excited just to really do the movie.
All right, so what's something surprising about voicing an animated character that most people wouldn't expect?
You have to have a whole lot of energy when you do it.
Cut it out. Stop it. Will you get out of here?
Especially if you're doing it for children to enjoy. Like if you do one of the cartoon movies that's mostly for adults, you can kind of keep it like how you usually act. But anytime you're doing anything where children are going to watch, you got to be really animated. Like, stop licking the inside of my mouth. So you just got to have a lot of energy.
So, what's your favorite Dogman line?
Rub.
I'm the greatest villain of all time!
Pete Davidson is the voice of Petey the Cat, Dogman's feline nemesis, who stirs up lots of trouble around town.
It's time to stop this super cop! He's not going to ruin my evil plans to destroy all do-gooders.
I came in and I tried to do like 4 or 5 different voices, and they were like, that's terrible, you should just be yourself.
Pete Davidson brought this crazy, beautiful energy that he could yell and scream and be the bad guy.
No one could stop me, not even Dogman.
But he's a very sweet person, and that's what comes out from this character, you know, as the movie goes on. And so he played it really brilliantly.
Ooh, is that fun?
There's also Lil Petey, a clone of himself, voiced by kid actor Lucas Hopkins Calderon.
You're destined to be a villain.
Ooh, is that fun?
So much fun.
Yay!
Everybody in the cast just brought so much to the movie.
Dogman is an awesome adventure. The drawings from the book look like they come to life. For real! The movie is packed with lots of humor and heart, and some great takeaways too. What lesson do you think kids can learn from this movie, Dogman?
You know, one of the great lessons kids can learn from this movie is just to have sympathy and to have empathy for others, right? One thing I love about Little Petey was so forgiving. And the way he wanted to bring Grandpa and his dad, Papa together, I thought was really cool. And he said it in the movie too at one point when Petey was talking about all the things his dad did to him. And then Little Petey was like, well, I forgave you. And so forgiveness is a big lesson I want a lot of children to learn.
The message in this movie is really, ultimately at the end, is that things can be difficult, but they're going to be okay. You know, it's this wonderful sentiment that's expressed late in the movie. And I just really had this desire that somebody, you know, sitting in the theater, and at the end of the movie, you know, they just look at who they're with and smile and go like, you know, it's going to be okay. Let's go get a burger.
Dogman, listen up. You're the only one that can stop him. With all your kung fu skills and your canine fortitude or whatnot. No time to waste.
Dogman is out now in theaters across the country. For Nightly News Kids Edition, I'm Andres. Back to you, Lester.
Andres, that was terrific. Thanks. And we should note Dogman is produced by DreamWorks Animation and distributed by Universal Pictures, part of our parent company, NBC Universal. Finally, in our Inspiring Kids series, a story about paying it forward. One 8-year-old Philadelphia Eagles fan had a choice to make. Take $1,000 in cash or pick a mystery Eagles mascot to see what came along with it. And what happened next touched hearts across America. We get details from our friend Jenna Bush-Hager.
It was a simple choice that revealed an extraordinary heart. When popular influencer MD Motivator posted he was looking for a deserving Eagles fan to surprise, Declan LeBaron's family knew their passionate 8-year-old was the perfect choice. Jillian LeBaron was instructed to bring her son Declan to a local Dollar Tree store in Philadelphia.
What's your name?
Declan.
I'm Zach. How old are you?
I'm 8.
What's your dream?
Probably going to an Eagles game.
You never been to a football game?
No.
The young Eagles superfan was given an unexpected choice: $1,000 cash or a mystery Eagles mascot.
Close your eyes, and on the count of 3, say, "Fly, Eagles, fly." 1, 2, 3.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Thank you.
Those are tickets. You're going to the game, man.
I love you.
And not just any game, the NFC Championship. And he was also given the $1,000. But what Declan did next was the biggest surprise to everyone.
Everything's great.
Declan started handing out the money to fellow shoppers.
Thank you. I love you. Thank you. I love you.
Declan, let me ask you something, buddy. When he gave you the $1,000 and you decided to give it away to all those strangers, why?
It makes my teacher, Miss McNeil, was just teaching me about paying it forward, and it also makes me feel good.
A big gesture from someone who's faced more challenges in 8 years than most face in a lifetime, battling a rare form of juvenile arthritis.
Systemic juvenile arthritis. It's like when your knees and back hurt.
And you've been in the hospital?
17 times.
17 hospitalizations, countless treatments. Through it all, his dream remained the same: to someday see his Eagles play. And at the NFC Championship, that dream came true. 2 magical hours on the field before kickoff, game gloves from Isaiah Rodgers, meeting his heroes one by one, a blown kiss from Bradley Cooper. And finally, watching his team score 55 points from seats he thought he'd never see.
We're going to the Super Bowl!
For a boy who spent so much time in hospital rooms, it was, as he told his mom, the best day of his life. And a reminder that sometimes the best choice isn't about what you get, but what you can give.
Thanks so much, Jenna, and all our friends at the Today Show for bringing us such a great story. And guess what? Declan will get to see the Eagles play in the Super Bowl in person, along with his family, thanks to the NFL, who provided the tickets, and New Orleans and Company, who provided transportation and accommodations. That's pretty awesome. Well, that is going to do it for us parents. Just a reminder, if your child has a question about any topic in the news, email a video to us at NightlyNewsKids@NBCUni.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at NightlyKids. And just a program note, you can catch Nightly News Kids Edition this Saturday on NBC. Check your local listing for the time in your area. Thanks for watching, everybody. Remember to take care of yourself and each other. So long.